KD's in the space, say you fucking swear he is. Say you swear he is.
That's fine. If that's how you are assessing it, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, if somebody else goes from regular season and in ascends, because if you are evaluating the postseason in such high regard that Joel Embiid can go from a top 5 to out of the
How do I full
conversation of
screen
being
this?
top 5, or at least questionable to being top 5, I'm then asking you, then what happens in when it's reversed? When somebody who's ascending from regular season to postseason. Then I'm asking you if you cannot acknowledge, because I don't, as much as we want to go back and forth on
What the
what defending the postseason, it definitely wasn't as inconsistent or up and down from what Embiid was doing. What the f- are we talking about?
But you're comparing Anthony Davis, who played a great season, but primarily was known for having a great season over an 8-game sample size, where he averaged 35 and 15.
Hey, tell that
and
nigga
then he went
Swiper
to
to
the
shut the
playoffs,
f up,
had
nigga.
two
Let
great
KD
rounds
speak.
defensively,
Let that nigga
was
KD
very
speak.
inconsistent offensively.
Hey, let
So
that
even
nigga
if you want
KD
to say that,
speak.
I'm still not putting Anthony Davis in the same conversation that we were originally having, which was about Embiid and about KD. So he had a great playoff run, but I'm still not ranking him higher than either one of those players. But that's just because the sample size isn't big enough. But you already know that.
But we're talking about just 1 year. What the fuck are we talking about?
But this year, Anthony Davis wasn't better than either one of those players.
Oh, you're missing.
What the fuck? Nah, KD is crazy as hell. That nigga KD
You gotta
is
explain it better, bro. Because
in
you're comparing regular
Cancun
season
somewhere.
playoff elevation.
What are you
In a-
even saying? What are you even trying to say? What's your
The
point?
point we're making is that niggas hold you in a different standard. So
What
when I
standard is
ask,
that? What standard is
I'm
that
about,
that
I'm
people
about to
hold
say
me?
it. When I ask people, why do they have you in their top 5? In contrast to somebody else. If
what
somebody
the
brings off
fuck?
playoff success, but then if the other nigga had more postseason success than you, then that doesn't make any sense. That's inconsistent. If they then say, oh, well, when he went up against quality defense, he dropped.
Yo, there's
Well, that doesn't make
5,000
any
people
sense
in
either,
here.
because that's also applicable to you. If a nigga says, oh, he's not available during the regular season, well, that doesn't make any sense either, because that's also applicable to you as well. The problem is when I had these conversations with people, they will outline reasons why one player isn't over another, but all of the things in which they criticize one player for, it's all applicable for you as well. If a nigga want to tell me that the reason why you top 5 is because of scoring impact, I have no problem with that, because that makes sense to me. All the things that come along with the value of scoring, that makes sense to me. But
Or you
that's
just
not
think
what niggas
you
say,
think
though.
I'm just a scorer?
I'm not saying that you're
I
just a
can't believe
scorer. I'm
KD
saying
is in this
if
room
they
right now.
value scoring in a high regard, I can understand how it supersedes the missed games. I can understand how it supersedes not being as good
I'm not
defensively
gonna lie,
as
Lowe is like a top
Embiid
tier
or Giannis.
arguer.
I
KD
can
should not have done
understand why
this.
it supersedes everything else that you may be lacking in contrast to someone else, like the playmaking from Luka. That's fine. But if it's because of the high value that they have, or the high evaluation they have
Go
of
in, you
scoring,
can't go in on
but
PC.
unfortunately, niggas never say that. They bring up things that are applicable against you as well.
I just think how y'all even look at the game is whack as fuck. Like
Okay.
playoff success, like you factor in team success when you talking about players. I just think how y'all consume the game is trash.
What
Like,
the
are you
fuck?
good or not?
I agree.
What
I
do you mean
agree.
you agree?
I
Playoff
mean,
success is
some things could be that simple. Are you just good or not? I mean, a lot of people have seen it for a long time, brother, and it's
But
okay. These lists don't
KD
really
about to
mean
get
nothing anyway.
KD's about to get fried for
So
this
why you
take.
getting so upset about them?
I'm getting upset because niggas are inconsistent of one way or another.
You are too, brother.
I'm inconsistent how?
You hold people to different standards. Everybody got their
Such as who? Such as
for
who?
who they like. It's
Such
all
as,
right, brother.
but such as who though?
I ain't gonna go into it though.
Such as who?
There's no need for me to go into it. But
This
everybody
nigga's
got
pressing
different standards
KD.
for different players. And everybody got their own list. Everybody feel their way personally about their favorite players. It is what it is. It just seems like you get mad or upset when people talk about me, my brother.
Such as who?
I'm
Oh my
just
god.
saying,
This is a
when they
legendary
talk
press.
about me, you
This
seem
is a
like you get a
legendary
little bit
press.
upset. I just
I
want
get
to know.
upset because of the inconsistencies. If we don't want to talk about postseason success and just talk about what somebody did,
There's just
that's
too
fine.
many. There's just too much criteria to keep up with at the end of the day. I think it's all fun. We all love the game. We all love debating and
Facts,
comparison and
facts.
all of that shit. But like, y'all niggas be taking it too far sometimes, brother. It ain't even really that serious.
Nah, I think that it's interesting that again, when people speak about other players, it's just
He
Like
said,
who? Like
nah.
who? What do you say? What do you like? What
for
are you trying to
example, with
get?
Swiper, let's use Swiper for example, right? He just told me that Anthony Davis's defense's postseason run put a caveat next to it because he went up against questionable offensive teams. But then
What does that
he
even
was
mean?
saying,
What? So AD's not a good defense. So you questioning AD's defense?
He's a great defensive player. The question was he was comparing basically regular season elevation to playoff elevation. So
Nigga said
AD
my idol
versus the
got
Warriors,
cooked by
great
Lowe.
defensive series. AD versus the Memphis Grizzlies, great defensive series. But again, once AD played against a complicated system with an elite offensive player and elite offensive rounder, his defense dropped because of the role that he was forced to play in that situation. So that was the original context.
Yo, this is peak right now.
no,
This is
no
peak
let
low.
me, because it's recorded. He said that the two teams he faced in the beginning were bad offensive teams. They were crappy mid offensive teams. And so then I said, okay, so him having the responsibility of going up against the Warriors,
Yo.
where he was not only asked to be the rim protector and paint presence, but also was being pulled outside of the lane because they kept forcing switches and using Curry's gravity to pull 80 out the lane. Him being able to still do all those things, that should be put into context. However, I know for a fact he's the same person who's going to use numbers against the Miami Heat of all team to try to boast up who Jokic is as a defender.
Okay, get
He's
back
the
to the
I
same
think
KD
reason.
it's
shit. Get back
I
to the
think it's
KD shit.
context involved with anything, but to say that to question Anthony Davis's defensive prowess is just like insane. Like, obviously, he might not be perfect every game or every series might be different, but to question what type of defender he is, that makes no sense. Based off a series,
Do you think he was the best defender in the postseason this run?
best, like it don't even best comparing him to who? Like, was he great? Did he
Compare
win?
comparable to
The
Bam,
rest of the
Draymond, and Triple J.
It's not even like comparing them. They play different roles. It's different series, different opponents. But are they good at defense? That's just a simple question.
Who y'all
Can they
got so
be
far, Chad?
relied
Who y'all got for
upon to
some?
be great defenders? I think yes. When one guy might have a better series before, and one guy might have a better series next. But are they great defenders at the end of the day?
Nigga said low and 5.
Yeah, I think it's very
So
Okay,
clear.
Well, I'll
basically,
give y'all a
I think you just nitpicking for the sake of just like because you bored.
you don't fuck with
Ooh.
rankings.
I do agree as well. Actually, I agree. When
Wait,
niggas
No,
score 60,
rankings.
I don't
I
know why
used
you.
hold on,
to.
hold on,
I
hold
don't
on,
know
hold
why
on,
you
hold on,
want
hold
to
on, hold on,
rank
hold on, hold on.
KD.
Let him
Nigga
answer this.
said this
So
the
you
voting
basically,
theory.
Why
Hell
don't
what
you
you,
no.
rank
think
KD?
I'm
yo,
why
wait,
am
yo,
I?
wait, yo,
That's the
wait. So
point.
you basically don't fuck with rankings.
I used to fuck with rankings, but it's just gotten to the point now where it's just
Wait,
too
so you
many
don't
of
fuck
them.
with no rankings? Like you don't care about all
So you just
NBA
don't
no
like
more?
ranked players?
I fuck
What?
with the game of basketball,
He
and I
said
just
the
like
criteria
I
be
like
too
it how
much.
it is. I don't try to nitpick around it. Obviously, we're gonna look at stats and look at why a team won or lost, but it's a lot of nitpicking going on around our game right now. It's just no fun to even talk to anybody about
Wait,
basketball.
do you think that the players should be like
Nah, low
ranked
key, I
across the
feel where
board in
KD's
this
coming
manner? Like,
from.
I
how
mean,
do
you
you think?
should. Yeah, I mean, of course you're gonna rank players. Of course you're gonna compare errors and all of that stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean that I like it. Of course it's gonna go down like that, but I like players for what they bring to the table individually. And
How do I drop a 100 emote in
circumstances
there?
and
I want to
context
drop a 100
matters a
emote.
lot, and it's hard to dive into the context with so much conversation
Yeah,
being had. You
KD,
know what I'm saying?
So
KD,
it's
how you feel
basically
about
you're good. Wait.
how you feel about
So
rim
basically,
protection? I'm
it's for
sorry.
you. It's if you're good or not. That's all it is. If you good, you good. If
It's
you're not,
like
you're not. Simple.
it's really that
Okay.
simple.
Yeah. Okay.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have your moments, and
Drop that little
some
100
moments gonna
emoji.
matter more than
Facts.
others, and you want to see dudes producing those moments. All that shit is cool, but like at the end of the day, you know if that player is good or
Yeah.
not.
So you
Yo,
don't fuck
so
with
what
When
about
did
rankings, but
so?
you fuck with tiers.
when did this switch up happen with you? Because I
Once I
don't
got
see
to the
that.
Eh,
league,
So if that was the case, so it didn't really matter to you if you was the best player in the league or not.
what like no, being the best player in the league is like what like being the best player in the league. I just want to be in the conversation. I want to be an all star. Let's
Damn,
put it
so
But
that
you
then
way.
you
just
say,
want to
but then you say, but
participate?
then you say at one point you said you was
What?
tired of being number two.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was. See, when I said that, we had just lost the championship. That's what I was tired of being. Number
Oh,
two,
save, save,
because we had
save.
lost the championship.
Save,
That was
save.
10 years ago.
Save, save,
So,
save,
so
save,
wait, so
save,
you cool
save.
with like
Bro, that's
you just
crazy.
cool with participating now?
You's a sick nigga,
Huh?
KB. Oh my god.
Are you serious?
This
I'm
nigga
cool.
trolling,
I'm
but
cool with
KD,
fans.
nigga
I'm
is
cool with
glazing.
fans.
All right.
I'm cool with fans consuming the
So
game
back
the
to
way
your
they want to
criteria.
consume
So
it.
wait,
I'm not here to
basically,
debate.
you instead of doing
Bro,
rankings like one through five, you just like to do tiers. Like your tier is like, okay, this player's good, this player's good, this player's good.
I
your
don't.
tiers
I
like that.
don't
Play
even look
back.
at shit like tiers.
I
I
don't
don't.
even do it like
KD,
that,
what's your
man.
criteria?
So wait,
I mean, it's kind of the same logic though.
He's basically
Wait, hold
saying
on.
I want to
he
be
doesn't
clear.
want to
I'm not gonna
overanalyze
find you
things.
ranking players or putting a player over another one in your 15 years in the league. That's what I'm saying.
No, I have a preference on what I like to watch and what I like to see over others, but I appreciate what everybody brings to the game uniquely, bro.
Right. So
Everybody.
again, Katie. So again, it's just because some of these questions are kind of just whatever. So, Katie. So when you're talking about skill sets, for instance,
Man,
like
this became
what
a
for you then
podcast. Niggas started an
makes
interview.
certain players more effective? It could be in playoff situations, final situations, whatever. What makes
Hey,
a
that nigga Low is
basketball
quiet
player
right now.
more effective than
Hey, that
others
nigga Low is
when
quiet
the
right now.
game gets tighter, when playoff situations arise, when pressure
He not
situations hit?
applying
What do
pressure
you
the way
think
he
makes a
was in the
player
Twitter
better or stand out
on the
above
tweets, on the
others when they're
quote
on the
tweets
court?
and shit.
That's a great question. I feel like a lot factors in. First of all, can you hold your own on both ends? Can you guard up and can you go get a bucket on your own? That's the base, right? If you can't do that stuff on your own, it's gonna be hard for you to survive late in games. It's gonna hard for you to just play in general because you can't guard nobody. They're not gonna put you on the floor. You can't create your own shot.
Lou said,
Then it's
I
gonna be
agree
tough for
with
you to
this nigga
last
when
in the pressure-packed moments. So those two things what I look at the most.
he's letting other people
But
talk.
All right, about
This
defense.
his
About
fucking
defense.
room, nigga. Do you see
you looking at
host?
Wait.
height,
It's his
About
room.
defense.
height,
Ask Shaq
you looking
DM.
at measurables.
Right. So
Damn.
Coach Katie, so when you evaluate your own game, then, so if you're talking about yourself, so you, since the injury, for instance, you have not consistently been able to get to the rim as like you used to. But again, that could be a lot of things. Your game has changed, play styles changed, all that kind of stuff, older, whatever else.
Yo, these
So
questions are
what do you
crazy.
feel about your own game has evolved or changed since you first went to Brooklyn to where you are now with the Phoenix Suns?
I'm more sharp. I don't get to the rim as much because it's just clogged up. If I could get to the rim, I would. But I put pressure downhill, though. I don't just shoot threes. That's the thing. If I'm getting past
You
my
think you put a
man,
lot of pressure on the rim now?
huh?
Yeah. You think you put a lot of pressure on the rim now
I think I drive
compared to
more than I
compared to how
just
you did in
settle for
OKC
threes.
back then?
I don't just settle for threes. If I'm just getting into the paint, making something happen, I don't necessarily got to lay the ball up at the rim.
Wait, but
If
you
I'm
don't
not
think
taking
you
You
wait,
don't
wait,
think
wait,
you
wait,
lost
wait.
a step?
Wait, hold
You
on,
don't
hold
think you
on. I
lost a
Take
don't.
step
the
up?
mid range, nigga.
say what?
Yeah,
You take the
against
mid
mid
range.
Yeah, the mid
Yeah,
range. Mid range post ups against your spots. Like you don't think you lost a step compared to before you tore your Achilles?
Nah, that's a
lost the
bad
step. What you
response. The
mean?
paint is
Like
clogged.
you got
think
You
you
don't
got
get to the rim.
slower post
you
Achilles
don't get to the rim
injury?
as much as you did before, pretty much. Yeah.
I don't even look at them stats. Am I getting to the rim less?
Bro, you get to the rim like
Bro,
at
yo,
such a
Katie,
low
do you
percentage,
wait?
bro.
Stop, Katie. Do you think that you get to the rim less than you did before you got hurt?
I feel like I can do what I want. I can move around, maneuver, and make the plays that I want to make.
So, do you think I that's a politician answer, but okay, if
No,
that's
I'm
the
just
case,
telling. Like, I'm not dunking or getting to the rim as much. There's a lot of players in the rim. There's a lot of people in the paint. I feel like.
So basically, you attribute
So
more of that, KD, to
if
the
I
players you've
could,
been around.
or just the schemes the teams are throwing out. Some teams may help a little bit more. Some teams may play a little bit zone. But no, I don't feel like I've lost a step. And I feel like I can play a lot of minutes and still be versatile.
All right, about
so
your
where,
3-point
so
shot in
where,
the
so
playoffs.
wait,
About your
what
3-point shot in the
scheme?
I
playoffs.
feel like
Why
they're
is that trash?
depressed,
What
just
Why you
scheme?
keep
like
What
that
scheme
trying to
were
trash?
the
get in their
Nuggets running
question.
against you for you to shoot that bad?
Yo, Five, welcome back to the agency. Marissa, welcome back.
Just
Jimmy
shooting
Magoo,
bad,
welcome back
bro.
to the agency, y'all.
Oh, you
Wait,
just
so you
shooting
don't
bad.
think a lack of rim pressure was hurting you in that Boston series?
It's hard to get to the rim when you looked at by 3 or 4 people at all times, man. You think they're just gonna let me drive
Crowding
to
the
the
space,
rim?
basically. Yeah.
But no,
What about,
but against
Gap
Denver,
in.
but
what
against
about,
Denver,
yeah, that's what I'm
you
saying.
just shot
Against
poorly.
Denver.
You just shot poorly.
It's a lot going on in the paint, man. When I'm playing, that's how I look at it.
All
I
right, but what
don't get
about
the
your
free
3-point
reign.
percentage outside of Golden State?
Here, let him finish.
Let him finish what, nigga? He's
Well,
not,
hold
bro.
on. No, hold
I'm
on.
asking.
Because so Katie,
Swiper, shut the fuck
so
up. Let that
when
nigga
you're,
Low
because I think
talk.
what everybody's trying to point to is the numbers would suggest that your drives have decreased, your frequency at the rim has decreased, all this other stuff has decreased over time. So
Okay.
even this year, when you played in the Phoenix-Denver series and you were being guarded by Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, KCP,
Okay, hold
Christian
on.
Brown,
He's cooking.
whatever,
Hold on.
you seem in that series to be settling for more contested pull-up
I
twos
feel like I
in that.
got to the rim more in that series than I did in the last couple of years. I was getting to the free throw line. I was getting to the paint, driving to the rim off the transition. I felt like I was getting to it downhill in that series.
So for you then, when you evaluate your shooting percentages, for instance, in that series, or when
Yo, I can't
KD
believe
when you were
KD
getting guarded by Aaron
casually
Gordon, I
talking
think you shot like
basketball with
38%
this
or
nigga
whatever in the
low.
course of that series. That what do you think that's more so you were just missing shots that you normally would have hit just because it's a
Most
series?
definitely.
Okay.
And I told you that. But hold on, let me ask this question though. You
Of
said
course they play good defense. Of course teams play good defense, get a good contest, but it's not like
yo. So
anything
you said you don't fuck.
drastic happening. It's just been
Yo,
chess.
you said you don't fuck with rankings. So as people that's analyzing the game and players that we set expectations for, standards for, they don't live up to that, right? Like,
Who?
how do you feel about that?
Oh, you just saying in general.
You said what?
You say when people don't live up to
Yeah,
the
the
stand. I don't
players
Bro,
don't live up to the standards or the
bro, stop
expectation that
asking the
set,
same
even for
ranking
themselves. A
question,
player like
nigga.
you probably set
Give Low the
standards and
fucking
expectations for
floor. Let
yourself.
that nigga
But if you don't live
cook.
up to it, and as fans or even analysts of the game, and we see you don't live up to it, how do you feel about that when it happens?
He left. KD left. He was so
Yeah, he
bored by
does.
that fucking question, he left. Ooh, you fucking you!
Oh, he left.
Bruh, I was about to ask about that rim pressure, bruh. Listen, I love
This
Katie.
nigga,
Oh,
bro,
he
this
left.
nigga
I
Nigga
Rick.
took an L,
capping.
bro. I had
That
to
nigga
Hey,
capping.
Yeah,
Low,
niggas.
back
Niggas
that
is
nigga
glazing.
up, bro.
KB,
That
you
nigga
sick
asked a
nigga, bro. You a
dumbass
sick
I can't
question.
be
nigga.
acting like
He
you
I
fucking
ruined
want
this
with
answers,
shit.
bro, because
I
again,
didn't. Nah, because I really hated that shit.
I
First off, I
hated
gotta
that
get
too.
this
What
off.
the
He's
Wait, no,
back.
what
He's
the
stop,
back.
fuck
He's
do
stop,
back.
stop,
y'all?
Say
stop,
he
stop,
back.
stop.
Say he
Wait,
back. Say
stop,
he
stop,
back.
stop. Because niggas was really pissing me off in my DM.
Oh, he's
For
back.
the
He's back.
final
He's
time,
listening. He's
G
listening. Do you
Live,
see that?
Charlize, I cannot
Wait, did he
see you
leave?
in the request. Stop DMing me. Yo, let me come up. I can't see
Oh,
you.
nigga ruined it,
Oh
bro.
my god.
We don't, yo,
I
nigga
can't
ruined it.
see you.
Shut the.
Also,
Who's
When I
saying
nigga,
see
that?
you, I'm gonna bring you up.
Who?
why
Ash?
the fuck
Ash.
are
Damn.
We
y'all
don't care,
niggas?
Ash. We
I'm trying to
Ash.
like fact check. Nigga, he
Ash.
had 2 games where
Fuck.
he got to the free throw line less than 5 times. What is this nigga talking about, bro? What the fuck are we talking about? Okay, he's back. Please, KD, answer this question, bro, because I'm kind of confused.
Okay,
Answer
KD.
what question?
There was
Mine?
2 games.
Bro,
No,
someone shut that.
nigga talking about you got rim pressure,
Someone.
and there was 2 games
Tell me again.
where I would
Say it again.
agree.
I didn't hear what y'all
But
said. My fault.
there was the first 2 games where you got less than 4, you got less than 5 free throws. You combined for 6 free throws in 2 games
What
in that
what
series.
game? What's the series?
Games 1 and 2, and then in particular in game 2, you also took 12 shots behind the arc.
Uh-oh. This nigga Low got all the
What
stats pulled
happened in
up
that
right
game?
now.
Those 2 games.
Which games?
The first 2 games of the Denver Nuggets series, where you combined for 6 free throw attempts in 2 games, and in one game in particular, you took 12 3-pointers, and you only took two free throw attempts in that same game.
Bad approach by me. I shoot too many threes.
What was the approach that y'all needed? What was the? I'm kind of like that's what I'm asking. Like, what was the approach that came into the concept of I need to attempt, or
I just need to
I
get
might
more
attempt?
Basketball
shots up.
reference demon.
Just get more
Okay.
shots up.
Now I agree. The following 2 games, you got to the free throw line
So this
immensely,
nigga
but then I
KD's
think the last
internet
2 games,
dropped,
it kind of
and
went
he
back
was so
to
committed to this convo,
what
he
you
made his
normally
way
would do, which
back.
is I would argue settling for a lot
Dog.
more middies than anything else.
That's just yeah. I feel you. I mean, yeah, we can nitpick well, like, what's your point?
Yeah, what
The
is your
point I'm
point?
making is
What's your
that
point, nigga?
again, when it
What's your
comes
point?
to assessing players, and I get you saying that you don't do this, but I think that in particular, especially the gap between 5, 6, and 7, there probably will be nitpicks. My argument is that like if my argument towards why you're not is that the value of who you are as a scorer, especially rim pressure and getting to the basket, isn't where it needs to be
Where
to
does it
put
need to
you
be
in
in order? Where does it need to be?
if we're
Whoa.
talking about other players who are getting to the free throw line and put more rim pressure, such as like a Luca, then I think that like that right there would be in favoring a Luca. If I'm comparing you and Luca, I would undeniably say that he gets to the rim more often.
Oh
He
my
puts more
god.
pressure on the basket more
I
often.
got
Like those are
respect for
things that I
Low.
would undeniably say are true.
I got respect for Low.
So what's that? I mean, so like, what's his play style? What point are you trying to make? I don't get it.
The point I'm trying to make is that if I'm having a conversation with somebody and we're discussing the ability to score, the dynamic ability to score, just even offense in general, right? Again, if people want to just blankly stay about the scoring aspect, I'm fine with the idea of you scoring. But if I then bring up the lack of rim pressure in contrast to someone like Luca and why I would favor Luca, if their immediate response to that would be I think potentially an embellishment of how often you get to the free throw line, and then I'm comparing you to Luca, or I bring up to Luca,
Lowe's right.
then that's where like the disconnect happens, because then
You're
even
comparing different
especially if
play
I bring up
styles,
somebody else
but
who I
if
just
you're
believe gets more
if you're
pressure
ranking a
to the
top
rim than
5,
you, especially
you
like a
have to
Luca or
compare
Giannis,
all play
then they
styles.
pivot to
He's
another
right.
conversation that has nothing to do with what we were talking about it, what besides accepting it. And so what you're saying that you think you got to the free throw line a lot in that series,
Lowe
I
cooked an
think two of
NBA
those
Hall of
games you
Famer.
did. I don't think that the remainder of the series you did though.
Well, I guess. So your point is that like you don't want to put me in the same conversation with Luca and the rest of the top 5 guys. That's what this whole spaces is about, right?
No, my point is that people
Yes,
who
it
have
is.
you where
Why did
they
he say
have you
no?
should be consistent from one
No, but
person.
Low, you don't think he's top 5, so stop dancing around the
Yes,
question.
but that's not.
Just
But
say
that's
that,
not. But
son.
that's. But that's
Just
not. That's not that.
I think you making shit way more complicated than it should be when we involve in the game. Like who talking? Like, yo, you're not good because of rim pressure.
100,
Like I didn't even
100
know y'all
emoji.
even got like you.
Who said that you weren't good though?
100
No,
Who
I'm
said you
just
emoji.
weren't?
saying that's a talking point talking the game.
100 emoji. Wait, hold
Oh
on.
well,
Why don't
I'm
I
not.
just
I'm
do
not. I
this?
never said that you weren't good. That never
No,
came
no,
out
I'm
of my
just
mouth.
saying. I'm just using that as an example. Like we talking rim
Okay,
pressure and
well,
playoff
I
trend.
don't know.
Like when you and your friends
Hey,
talk, that's how y'all talk about
KD,
ball.
Bro, I can't make this
It's just like
bigger.
the way
KD,
ball being
how you
No,
feel
wait. I
how you,
think, boy,
how
stop,
you feel
stop,
about
stop.
building your team?
Oh fuck,
I
bro.
just think the
Jesus.
way ball being talked about nowadays, not just you, but just in general, I just be looking like it's just there's too many layers that people trying to use to justify why they have
He's
to
saying we
give their
comp. I know we
team
can.
or
I
the
know y'all can
best
see. I
or
was trying to
why
make it
they
bigger.
view as the best or what they say is the holy grail of basketball. I just be thinking it's be a bunch of
Wait, so how
self-serving
many
Yes,
games?
bullshit.
I think getting rim pressure can definitely be a determination on the evaluation of someone, especially when your
Wow.
coach last season, Monty
Hey,
Williams, would go to
Lowe
the
is
podium
cooking
and
right
complain
now.
about how y'all weren't getting enough free throw attempts every other
It's not
game.
letting me zoom
Now
in,
you weren't
chat.
on that team for most of that time, but when Monty Williams used to complain about the lack of free throw attempts,
Wow.
yes,
Everybody,
there's some.
every coach would come up there and say that.
Click
No,
the
Everybody.
but
dots.
Monty used to do it routinely.
Shit.
And
The
I think
dots
that
ain't
and I
doing
think
nothing,
that did
champ.
hurt the Suns' offense last year. The lack of appearances at the free throw line, but it's hard to get free throw attempts if you're not attacking the basket. Would you not agree?
I don't think I just settle for threes though.
I didn't say you. You asked me the evaluation of rim pressure. There is a lot of value in it.
I just think when you break the 3 point line, not necessarily you don't always necessarily have to get to the rim, but I think you can create a lot if you just break the 3 point line.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Our game is played behind a 3 point line. I feel like
What the
a,
fuck is
a
this
lot
nigga
of teams,
saying?
a lot of players can settle just shoot a lot of threes. But once you break that, you're gonna get the defense to react. Now, if
That's a
you
little
get all the way
better.
to the
That's a
rim,
little
that's
better.
cool. But sometimes you can just touch the paint, beginning of the paint, and then you can create something or make it or take an easy shot. I feel like if I pull up in the lane, regardless of laying the ball up, that's a layup to me.
And in that series, you just so happen to be
KD
shooting
don't
bad
know
on your
ball.
layups.
Bro,
On
what
my
the
what?
fuck?
On what you would consider a layup to you, you were just shooting bad on your layups in that series.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But my
50%.
career ain't just about one series though.
But the top five argument isn't about your career either. It's about this season.
But I mean,
What the fuck?
who in your
Jamal
top five
Crawford is
first
in
off?
this bitch.
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
Jokic, Giannis, Curry, Luke, Embiid.
Wow.
Why you choose that five?
Whoa,
That's a great
whoa,
five. I mean, you can't go wrong with any.
whoa, whoa,
There's so
whoa,
many players
whoa,
in this league.
whoa,
Like you
whoa,
can put
whoa.
a whole totally different
Embiid is
five and
top
be like, all
five.
right,
You're
that's great
dumb if you
too. And they
don't. If
all
you
play
think
well too.
you're a hater
But
if you
why
don't
that
think
five?
so. That's a fact. Good
I
take, Lo. Good
think the
take.
top three in particular are consistently relative to like a lot of other players, especially this season, are more available than a lot of other players. I think they tend to translate, or at least they have something that can translate at a very high level in the
Uh huh.
postseason when teams are specifically scheming against them better than a lot of other people. And I also think that just their impact, regardless of like obviously like Giannis's impact defensively is different from like Jokic
I'm
and
not gonna
vice
lie. Anyone
versa.
who just
But
said Embiid
for
is
example, I
ass,
just think like
like, never
Jokic's
have an
impact
NBA
on the
opinion
offensive side
again,
of the floor and the things that
ever
he's
in your
able to
life.
provide really does alter not only what his team can do, but also how the opposing team defends them. And I think the more valuable and the more
Pascal's in here.
consistent you are at that,
Ooh,
especially
what?
trying to alter teams offensively or defensively in
Where?
the postseason, lends to me favoring you higher than one person or the other. But for me personally, I just think that if, in particular to you, if there's a
Where?
noticeable regression from the shot making that you have, especially when you're going up against
Whoa, this
more
nigga's on
physical
his
forwards such
ass,
as
bro.
Aaron Gordon or the year prior, JT and them in Boston. Then that's kind of a pause for question. That's why I would hesitate to put you top 5.
I wouldn't. Me being in your top 5, I'm not. There's nothing wrong with me not being in your top 5. I just want to know what's your criteria. Everybody got different criteria.
That's a fact.
Me being
That's a
top
fact.
10.
That's a fact.
Me being
Yeah, you clearly top 10. You're
me
top 10. That's
being
not.
me not being in the top 10. I'm not sitting here like, oh, you're totally wrong about that. I understand. You got your own perspective on the game, but I just wonder what
Who's
everybody's
my top
criteria.
5?
I think everybody got different criteria about for why they watch
I
the
don't
game.
have one, bro.
And again, I agree. If their criteria heavily favorite things that
Yo,
you
Jack,
are
welcome back to the agency. Unique, welcome back.
heavily impactful on, then I have no problem with that.
No,
But
I'm not trying to convince you to change your top 5.
oh no. I'm not specifically talking about you either. I'm talking about
Okay.
anybody else. If their
Wow.
criteria is
Imagine if they
heavily
become friends
favoring
after
things that
this.
you were highly impactful
Wouldn't that be
on,
such a
then
beautiful
I have
ending?
I have no problem. But if somebody tells me the reason why
Smart move,
somebody else
agent.
can't
Keep
be
the top 5 in the tuck.
top 5 because they missed XYZ amount of games in the regular
Okay.
season, but they end up playing more games than you did in the regular season, well then that doesn't,
KD's
you know what
top
I'm saying?
10.
That
Facts.
criticism
Facts,
doesn't
he's
really
top
add up
10.
because you're criticizing them for a lack of games played, but then overlooking that when it comes to you. And that's where I'm saying the standard seems to be different because how are you
He
criticizing
left.
player A for lack of games played, but KD
Oh,
last
he
year only
went
played
down to
47
listener.
games.
He just crashed out, by the way. He probably gonna come back up. Just want to let you know, big dog.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
low cut, bro. Low cut. Low cut.
Yeah, too much.
I just want to know. I mean,
That nigga cooked. All right. Respect.